All right, and welcome to another episode of Stay Tuned with Troy and Howie. We have our afternoon recording version of this show. And
I don't
hey,
remember the last time we did an afternoon recording.
whew, you know what? I was thinking about this actually today, and I'm thinking that maybe the last time we did was over at Mount Gretna Brewery.
Jeez, you're probably right.
Yeah, what was that, 2, 3 years ago? Almost 3 years
Was that
ago, almost, I think.
was that our 3-year anniversary?
It was either our second or our third anniversary. Yeah. So at least 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now to think we're coming up on 6 years, Howie.
I know. 6 years in May, Memorial Day weekend.
Wow.
So, now, as we continue to progress, I will say this: I do have a lot of hopes and dreams with this podcast and where it could go.
Yes.
And sadly enough, we didn't say that we're going to talk about this before the show started. But now that you put it out there,
Let's go.
you know, I had this idea to start an app, and the app was truly based on helping independent artists.
Okay.
Independent music artists, independent
Whatever.
movie, TV, stand-up comedian, anybody who doesn't have a label, so to speak. And I thought, you know what a cool idea to create an app that would cater to just all independent artists, and it would allow them to showcase their talent, sell their merch, and have others discover them and sign them.
That's a great idea, Howie.
Yeah.
Actually, I really, really like that. They can upload whatever content they want, to us, and then we'll put it on the app. And that's a great idea. I really like that idea, Howie.
I appreciate that, and I actually
Copyright out there, everybody.
Yep, that's right. Don't worry, it's already in the works. I have somebody working on the app as we speak.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it in the very beginning, but I'm thinking like in the first month or two, all independent artists will have an opportunity to join the platform for free, and then after those couple months, they would pay like a subscription base, $10 a month or whatever it would be. And then folks who would want to use the app, you and I, it would be like a free. We can jump on and listen to whatever they want to promote, and listen to their music on the app, go to their platforms, and whatever. And I thought, people like people like your buddy Chad Gracie could be like, hey, you know what? Let's check out what's the new talent out there, what's going on, and could be like a Jen Smith situation where they end up signing someone to a label. And I thought, what a cool idea, because these folks don't get enough of platforms to get exposed to, and we're living in such a competitive world. It's really tough for them to make it on mainstream. I know we just recently had Zana. She made it mainstream, and not only made it mainstream, but I think her one song is number one.
Yeah.
On that particular platform. Just an idea
Was it her song that got debuted on Octane, I believe?
You know what? I don't know.
I think it was Octane on Sirius XM, I believe.
Yeah. Or was it on the Octane channel? Because they do have an Octane channel, if I'm not
mistaken. See, I didn't know that. Okay, well then maybe that's
kind of like a harder rock channel.
Correct.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it is at number one on there. So
for her, she was a lot of fun, and she had an amazing story as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she does.
You get a chance. That was a few years back. What, probably 4 years ago, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, but she has an amazing story. She had a health scare, and just found it by chance, really. It's just really amazing story, and it really kind of makes you keep things in perspective as far as going to get just regular checkups and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. Yeah. So, stories like hers, I kind of get inspired by, and I know, like, the band Wildfire, we've had on a few times now. They put a lot of effort into promoting their stuff, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to say they're spinning their wheels because I'm sure they're doing okay, but they're still not where they would probably like to be. And I would like to see a platform out there that kind of helps them get there. So yeah. So,
Wildfire was one of our first guests that we didn't know personally to some
yeah,
level.
that's exactly it. I believe
Yeah,
they were our first guest that we didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah. That was
Um,
pretty cool. So I remember when you first messaged me, said, "Hey, we got these people. They want to come on," and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually kind of got a little bit nervous at that time. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know these people. What if I'm going to say something stupid? Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
right. I
And
know.
I'm sure it was a little weird for their dad too, because at that point they were both minors, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, they were.
And they're like, oh my god, we got these two young, beautiful girls that are talking to these two old guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he probably was sitting there like right on edge, listening to every word
Yeah,
you were saying,
yeah,
because I would
right.
have been.
He's probably thinking, okay, what is their angle? I know what their angle is, but I better
Yeah,
hang out and listen.
because I know as a dad of a girl, like or two girls, like I would have been doing the exact same thing. So
Without a doubt.
yeah.
Without a doubt.
So, but no, it was cool. We've had them on, I think, three times now,
I
something
think
like that.
so. Yeah,
So we should see about catching up with them again soon. Actually, now you
I
bring that up,
agree.
that's pretty great. Yeah,
I agree.
been a
And
little while.
yeah, without a doubt, I would be fun to see what they're doing with themselves. And I know what's her face, the youngest one,
Kelly,
was going to what, Texas A&M?
I believe that's right. Yeah, I think it was Texas A&M. Yep.
Yeah. So be curious to
So
see
yeah,
where she's at in her
yeah.
collegiate career.
And I just saw it actually pop up on Facebook not too long ago too. That I think she just hit her 21st birthday as well. So
Oh my gosh.
I know that's how long it's been out.
Jeez. Wait a minute. Not the youngest one.
Yes.
The youngest one is 21?
Okay. Well, think about it, Howie. 6 years ago, basically, she
Yeah,
would
I
have been
guess
like
he would have
15
been
or
like
16. Yeah.
15. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
My gosh, we're getting old, Troy. We are getting old. Well, I know. I still think about it now. Like this July, my oldest is going to be 25.
Wow.
I know. 25, and then my youngest is 22. So yeah, that makes sense. That all computes, I guess.
Man.
Time is just flying by with or without us, I guess.
I know. You better hang on, or because if you don't, it's going to go without you.
So true.
Hey, big day in Pennsylvania, Howie.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's uh by the way, I had the TV on this morning, early in the morning, and they were panning over to Punxsutawney, and they were showing all the live festivities. It was all going on live, and then all of a sudden the announcers come on, they start talking, and for the first time ever, I actually got to see how they go about getting Punxsutawney Phil out of his whatever you want to call it, his
Oh,
stump,
his home. Yeah.
yeah, his tree stump that's made into a
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
and they pull the groundhog out, and apparently he talks to them in groundhogese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he tells them what scroll to look at.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they get the scroll, they unbound the scroll, and they read the scroll out loud, and it's a bunch of, I don't know,
Mhm.
rhyming and
And the groundhog wrote the stuff on this scroll,
oh,
or
without a doubt, Troy. How
yeah,
dare you
sure.
even question that? But um, but yeah, so it goes on and on and on, and then it finally tells us what to expect. And I'll tell you what, I kind of already knew what to expect. I don't know about you, but
So is it 6 more weeks of winter, or is it six more
six
weeks until spring?
6 more weeks of winter. Six
Isn't
more
that how
weeks
it
of
is?
winter.
Isn't that what they say? Isn't it either 6 more weeks of winter or 6 more weeks until spring?
Yeah, right. Same thing, right?
Right.
I know. I know.
No, it is kind of it's silly and all, and it is whatever it is. But it's crazy that this thing's been around since 1887.
I
That was the
know.
first ever Groundhog's Day.
I think they said 139 years
Yep.
of
Well,
doing
there
it.
you go.
Yeah.
87,
Yeah.
130. There you go. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Like, if not for this, would anybody even know about this place? Punxsutawney Phil, obviously, is very well. He's been around for 139 years too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he looks pretty good for his age, I must say. Uh, I will say this, I do know somebody who goes up to Punxsutawney this time of year every year for
Yeah.
vacation. And for the I don't know, for the love of me, I have no idea why someone would go to Punxsutawney for vacation, but he does, and he makes a weekend out of it or whatever, or a long
That would be
weekend
a
out of it.
cold weekend.
I know, I know.
Does he camp there? Does he get a room? What does he do?
That's a good question. I almost
Yeah.
think he gets a room. I'm not sure.
If he didn't normally, this would have been the year to do so because it was
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, it was like 1 degree, I think they said when they announced Punxsutawney's
Yeah.
future here. So
So yeah, so right up on top of that hill there, they call that Gobbler's Knob up there. I'd love to
yeah.
know how they came up with that name. That's a little, as the kids would say, sus.
That's right.
But yeah, it's a cool little Pennsylvania tradition that we have here, and if not for anything else, I mean, it even has a movie after it.
Yeah. Yeah, Groundhog Day, starring
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah. I love that movie actually.
Yeah, great movie, and obviously Groundhog Day became not just known for that day then, but after that, it also became known for um, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like
Yeah.
Groundhog Day was what they would call that then. So it took up its own little twist in, I don't know how you would say that, little became a popular culture
Mhm.
item, Groundhog's Day, because of Bill Murray and because of him waking up and going through Groundhog's Day every single day, same thing every day.
Here's a
So
trivia question, Troy.
okay, I probably won't know it, but go
I
ahead.
think you will because
Oh, okay.
you're pretty I don't know, you're pretty keen on remembering things.
Okay.
What was the song that kept on playing on the clock radio every day for Bill Murray?
See, I don't know this actually.
Ah,
Whenever I think of this, I think of the alarm radio, and the first movie I think I don't know.
Sonny and Cher.
I
I
got you, babe.
There you go.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
No, when I think of a clock radio and somebody waking up, the first thing that always comes to my mind is not Groundhog Day. It's actually Back to the Future.
Oh,
Huey Lewis and the News is playing when
yep.
he wakes up, and it's called Back in Time.
I remember that.
I
Yeah.
think that might have been part two. If I'm not, actually, I don't remember. Is that part two or part one? I don't remember. But anyway,
I don't
that's
know.
the scene I always think of when I hear an alarm clock going off and a song playing. I always go right to Marty McFly there and Back to the Future.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah. So Punxsutawney will be 140 years next year, where we'll be seeing another Groundhog's Day. But of course, just like every year, 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah, especially up here in Pennsylvania. But I will say this: a lot of folks that aren't used to experiencing cold weather are experiencing cold weather right now as we speak, especially in the South right now. I believe
Game last night, Howie.
Oh, I know.
The Bruins played in Tampa Bay at the
In
Lightning.
Tampa Bay.
In Tampa with a temperature of 30 degrees.
Yeah, the ice hockey gods are speaking
Yes.
when that happens.
Yeah. Of all years to pick a hockey game outside in Tampa, they couldn't have picked a better year ever.
And it kind of shocked me because, who had the idea of doing that?
Yeah. I know. I'm curious as to how they would have done that if it would have been warm.
If it was 75 degrees outside all day, all night, how would they have made that happen?
Now, they did have some sort of canopy over it.
I saw that.
And I guess and I guess that was supposed to not only help keep the sun off of it, but I guess it also keeps whatever coldness from the ice kind of in that area there so that it helps keep it frozen. But let's face it, if it would have been 70 degrees and they would have had to pull, obviously you can't keep that canopy on while they're playing. I mean, how would the people see, right?
Right.
So you pull that canopy off, now all of a sudden it's warm out. How long would it be till that ice started goofing? Would you have to take breaks every 5 minutes to Zamboni the ice? I don't know.
That's a good question because I'm thinking too that could have been dangerous to the players with some,
for sure.
Definitely some divots going on and would not have made for a pleasant experience. But hey, they don't have to worry about that now. It was 30 degrees, like you said.
And there was another game, which actually was the night before in Pennsylvania at State College.
State College, yeah.
And now that I didn't watch that one, But I did hear that there did seem to be some problems with the ice every once in a while. That it seemed to get a little sloppy towards the end of every period.
Hmm.
And I was curious at that because I mean we're not far from State College here. We're about 2 hours away, and I know it wasn't warm,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't know what was going on with the ice that they would have been having that problem. I'm not sure.
My guess is technology probably played a role. Like even down in Tampa Bay, their technology is probably far superior than what college level technology, or even because we've had minor league hockey outdoors here in our area at Hershey,
Yep, yep.
and it went off well. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a good
Yeah, I don't
question.
remember what year that was. That might have been about 10 years ago now. Hershey played somebody like the whole week leading up to that. I think they had a couple college exhibitions as well that played
Hmm.
there. And I know
Yeah.
one for a fact because my cousin went to Lebanon Valley College and played ice hockey,
Yeah.
and they played Delaware up there that same year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It is weird that they had a problem in Pennsylvania, but they didn't have much of a hitch in Tampa. Figure that one out. I don't know.
It's crazy, but hey, whatever. I mean, something. I'm sure there's like some kind of technology um, increase, I guess you can say, where they can put things under the ice to keep it frozen no matter where it is. I'm
Yeah.
guessing
Yep.
it has to be, something has to be going on for them to even say, let's do this in Tampa.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Obviously, they had. And the funny thing is I can think back to I believe it was 1995 when the was it the Avalanche played the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals? Does that sound right?
in
Or
95.
was it the Red Wings? I don't
Yeah,
remember. It was one of those
I was
two.
gonna say I know the Red Wings were doing pretty well then, but
Yeah,
it
but
might
I
have
can't.
been the Avalanche.
But either way, I remember when they would have the games in Florida, there was concern a lot of times that the ice would get too soft because they're playing. I mean, the Stanley Cup Finals go till what? The beginning of June, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're playing ice hockey in June in Florida. Like, even though they're
True.
in an arena, that's still, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and now we're playing games outside and it's no big deal.
I know. I know. It's crazy how that works. It's a shame too because, the old Pittsburgh arena where the Penguins played, they called it the Igloo, but it
Yep.
actually had a retractable dome.
Did it really?
It did. The entire thing could open, and that would be kind of cool. With, I guess, if they had the technology to deal with it, it would be kind of cool for them to, have it under the stars or in the afternoon or whatever. That would be kind of a neat situation, but that's no longer an option.
They they ripped that arena down.
They did. They did.
Okay.
It's now a parking lot for the new arena.
And they don't call that the igloo anymore.
No, they don't. PPG Sports, PPG Paints Arena.
See, that's silly. You should still call
I know. Well, it
it. Man,
doesn't
that's
look like an igloo. The old one literally looked like an igloo.
why didn't they make it look like it?
That's a good question. It's now just a big old square building.
Uh,
It's a nice
it
arena. I got to watch a game there. I got to a
was
couple
a
of years,
opportunity.
yeah, a few years ago I got to watch 2 years ago I got to watch the Penguins and Capitals play
I remember
because
that.
yeah, I just assumed that, you know, Crosby and Malkin and Ovechkin, they were on their last year or two, and here I'm finding out, man, these guys are going to play forever.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a, if, was didn't you have a problem where like somebody didn't play in that game though? Wasn't somebody hurt at that time or something? Or did you see them all?
I saw them all,
Okay.
but I didn't see at that time it was Tristan Jari starting, and and he didn't start that night, I think.
Okay.
So,
But
but every
you saw all the like so-called legends at that
I
point,
did. I
right?
saw Ovechkin, I saw Crosby, I saw Malkin, and I saw
Lieutenant.
Letang. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I remember seeing something about those three guys. I don't remember where I seen it, but it's like the longest three teammates to ever play together. Like for I don't remember. It might be like in history. I don't remember, but
it might be
it's
because
pretty long.
they played together
Yep.
19 years.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it
You
is.
don't see
That's
that
cool.
often at all.
I
Yeah.
know. And
Not many.
they're all still playing at elite levels, really, when you think about it. I mean, I would say Latang, you can see, has more of a wear than the other
Which
two.
is understandable. Didn't he go through cancer?
Yeah, he's yeah, he's beaten cancer. He's now got a broken foot. He's out for most of the for the next 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I see the guy have a little bit of a drop off after coming back from cancer.
yeah, but he still plays well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah. So now, oh man. Um, I guess we'll kind of stay in this little realm here a little bit. We're kind of a little bit of a sports world here. And I
Hmm.
was kind of looking up stuff to talk about today, and I thought these two things were pretty interesting. Number one is we're coming up on the Winter Olympics. I think they're supposed to start this coming Friday is the opening ceremony.
Yeah, which is
And
kind of interesting that we're
yeah,
doing it then the Super Bowl.
right. Yeah, you would think they would have waited a week or something and not tried to complete
Hmm.
the Super Bowl because I'm sure there's going to be some sort of games going on while the Super Bowl is going. You would
Yes.
think, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but then anyway, in 1924, so what, just 102 years ago, is the debut of the Winter Olympics.
Hmm.
So, and they started in, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. I looked it up and I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, but it's called.
Yeah, I think you gotta say it and then spit when you're done. Shami.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Drumming. Okay, something like that. But yeah. So 1924, they debuted in France for the Winter Olympics, and now here we are. They said 102 years later, and where are they at this year? I can't even remember.
You know what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
I'll look that up real quick. But then in
Okay.
the meantime, the other thing that I thought was pretty interesting, we kind of chatted about this. It's in Cortina. Cortina, is that where's that at? Where's Cortina?
I don't
Uh,
know.
Italy.
Italy, okay. Um, yeah, I was just gonna say when it comes to the Winter Olympics, I'm really looking forward. By the way, the next Winter Olympics after this one is in Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's back there again.
It is. It is. I was out there when they announced it. I was actually in Utah and they're like, "Yeah, it's coming back to us." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Um and I can say when we watch it in Salt Lake City, I can say I was on that bobsled track.
Hold on. I think your information
Oh, don't challenge me.
it says the 2030 Winter Olympics will be hosted in the French Alps in France.
Huh. Now they announced it's going to be in Salt Lake. Maybe it's the next one.
Let's look. 20. So that would be 20. What? 34.
Okay. Well, let me see here.
There you go. Salt Lake City, 2034. There you go.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because
Yep.
I know they were awarded it. I just didn't. All right, that makes sense.
Yep.
So,
So 2034. So back in the United States, it could be France in 2030. All right, we'll be around. We'll be around. So anyway, yeah, the Olympics. So that's pretty cool though, actually, because in 2030 it'll be in France,
yeah,
and that's where it originally started in 1924. So 106 years later, it'll be back in the country where it started all. But the other thing that we were chatting about, Howie, that I thought was kind of interesting is on this date in 1892. So yeah, we're turning the clock back here a little bit. The longest boxing match under modern rules happens between Harry Sharp and maybe Sid's dad, Frank Crosby, maybe his
he's
grandfather. I don't know.
yeah, probably great grandfather.
Harry Sharp and Frank Crosby go for an amazing 77 rounds.
See, I'm sorry, but you know what? After round 77, the referee should have just held up both of their hands and be
Yeah,
like, you know what, you guys, it's a draw.
I don't even know how you guys are still standing. You
Yeah,
guys win.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, think
Because
about
I'm ready to go
that.
home and go to bed.
Yeah. Have you ever hit like a heavy bag or just kind of
Yeah,
gone through shadow
yeah,
boxing?
yep.
That takes a lot of energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, 3 minutes at a time, and then you get a minute between each round to kind of get your energy back a little bit, and that you get like a 30-second spurt, and then you feel it again
Yeah.
already.
I mean, I do VR boxing
Yeah,
and I'll do 3 rounds of that, and when I'm done hitting, boxing for 3 rounds, and I'm not even hitting anybody, I'm just, virtually hitting somebody and then, not feeling like the whatever, the
I remember
aftershock.
I remember just doing it on the Wii. The Wii
Yeah,
controller only had that. Like that was like
yeah,
once I think they were 3 round matches or something like that. And by the end of the third round, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
got my
you're
cardio in
set.
today.
Yeah. I mean, geez, playing Nintendo and hitting Mike Tyson, I mean, my thumbs got tired.
Exactly right. Yeah, so 77 rounds, Howie.
Wow.
We figured this out to be, with the breaks between rounds and everything, a
Over
little over 5 hours.
5 hours. Wow.
5 hours.
Yeah,
Now, who had the patience to sit there and watch these guys for
that's
five
the
hours?
other thing too, and how well did beer sales go?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy. 77 rounds.
Did it
So
say where?
that was, yeah, in Illinois. I didn't write the town down, but it was in Illinois.
Okay.
Uh,
So, wow,
shoot, yeah, I don't have the town written down. But yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Long. I mean, just the 77 rounds, man. That's just. I just keep thinking about that, and I'm just like, how?
That's
Like, how
impressive.
can people sit that long? How can people fight that long? Everything.
Yeah.
Like, what time did it start? What time did people have to?
Well, you
Oh
think
my
a
gosh.
typical I don't know where they were in regards to lights and such these days, but
Yeah,
I'm guessing they didn't have lights, so it had to have happened during the day, right?
you would think. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to pull up a little information on it here right now,
Okay.
as we're still chatting about it. But
Well, you
yeah,
know what? While you're looking that up,
yep.
we do have the biggest game of all sports coming up this Sunday, and it is the Super Bowl, and a lot of folks tune into the Super Bowl for the commercials. A lot of folks tune into the Super Bowl for the halftime show. Are you watching the halftime show this year?
I don't even know that I'm watching the game.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I have no interest in it. Nothing. I have no team to root
No skin in
for.
the
Like
game?
I don't. No, like I don't really like any of the players on either team. Like just
Hmm.
I'm sure wherever I'm sure I'll be somewhere and it'll be on and I'll watch it. But I'm not definitely going to be into it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
I
like
hear you.
so I'm hoping there's going to be some decent commercials because other than that I'm really not going to care.
Yeah, and I'm
But as
definitely
far as the
I'm
halftime show goes, like you know I don't want to make this racial because that's not what this is at
no.
all. But I don't like his music, Bad Bunny. I don't like his music.
Yeah.
I don't really care if he speaks in Spanish or French or English or whatever. Because I'll say this: was that like 5 years ago or so when Jennifer Lopez and Shakira did the halftime show?
Mhm.
Shakira and I think even J Lo did a couple songs in Spanish.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
No.
I liked some of their music, so that was okay with me. Bad Bunny, like I just don't really like any of his music. Nothing is
No.
really entertaining me about him. So I don't, really care to tune in. And I heard, I'm sure there's going to be other halftime options. There usually is on different channels.
Well, I think the Turning Point, the Charlie Kirk
I did hear something
company,
about that. Yep,
but
yep.
I haven't heard anything as far as where and when.
I missed Celebrity Deathmatch. You should bring that back.
What's that?
I said I missed Celebrity Deathmatch. You should bring that back.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
You remember when they did that during the halftime show?
Yes, I do remember
Yeah,
that. Or even the
yep.
Bud Bowl.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, that would be
Don't they
kind of.
usually have the Puppy Bowl over halftime too?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
So
I don't know. I just like I said, it's not a racial thing at all. It's not
no,
a language thing at all. It's
just
just
my,
it's
yeah.
a no. It's literally a no interest thing for me. You know,
Yeah, that's the same with me. Is like when they announced that, I was like, you know what? That's I don't know. I don't see the interesting.
they missed a golden opportunity for Metallica to
But yeah,
be in the area where they grew up from, where they kind of made their name. Like I don't understand. I think this is like the third time now that they've had a Super Bowl out in that area, and every time there was heavy rumors. Oh, it's going to be Metallica this time. It's going to be Metallica this time. And like they're really missing the boat here. I
hmm.
think unless Metallica doesn't want to do it, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they
here's
don't.
what I say.
Yeah.
Think about this. This is the 60th Super Bowl. Do you know who played at Super Bowl one?
The teams?
No, the band.
Wasn't it like a marching band? Wasn't it like USC's marching band or something? Or,
It was the Rolling Stones.
was it really?
It was the Rolling Stones. And think about that. How cool would it be to have them playing at the 60th
Yeah,
Super Bowl? I don't like I'll
yeah,
be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the Rolling Stones, but just from a nostalgia standpoint, it just seems like that would be really cool. Um, yeah. Now you gave me some doubt there, Troy. I got to check that out.
yeah. I don't know. You better check it out. You're a
Yeah.
little mistaken on your facts today, here, Howie.
I know. I know. Rolling
So,
Stones
so
play.
you're 10. So going back to the boxing thing while you're looking that up real quick. So the winner was a St. Louis printer named Harry Sharp. So here he was. They were boxing part time, right? So
Yeah.
they weren't even full time boxers. Um, whose rewards were the Missouri Lightweight Championship, a side bet of $500, and then he also got 11 months in jail for violating an anti-prize fight law. He was later let off, thank goodness.
Okay.
So both men had trained so well that they were still slugging into the 76th round when they knocked each other down simultaneously. Crosby banged his head, got up dazed. Sharp put him down for the count a few minutes later. So, yep.
Oh my God.
Um, oh, here we go. Listen to this. This is really interesting. But Crosby was not the first casualty of the fight. With nips from his bottle, referee Willie Green had fought off cold and exhaustion until the 65th round.
Oh my gosh.
Then, then he passed out. The last 12 rounds were fought without a referee.
Wow.
Um,
You know what? You were correct. First Super Bowl in 1967 featured marching bands from the University of Arizona and Grambling College.
oh, and okay, Arizona and Grambling. Okay, I thought it was Southern Cal. But okay. Where was that?
But the Rolling Stones did perform at Super Bowl 40, which would have been the Steelers when the Steelers won. Yeah, Steelers Seahawks game in Detroit.
Yes,
But for whatever reason,
I
for the life of
vaguely
me, I
remember
don't
that.
remember that.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. You know what's really cool about that Super Bowl that I'll never.
What's that?
Um, I literally called the Antoine Randall touchdown pass. I
Really?
literally called that. I did.
Wow.
I said, I don't. We were sitting. I was sitting there with three friends of mine, Jeff, Jason. There was a couple other people there, and I said, Randall L is going to throw a touchdown pass this game. I just knew it was going to happen. I
Yeah.
knew it.
Yeah.
They had just drafted him not long before, and he was a college quarterback.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was just like, I know they're going to pull this play out. I know.
Didn't he play it? Did he play at Indiana?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's really cool. But yeah, so kind of got off track there a little bit, but I
Yeah.
thought it was worth bringing up here about that. That was interesting about that fight. That was
Yeah.
12 rounds without a referee. Um, the guy ends up getting a 9 month or 11 month jail sentence that eventually gets wiped out, and he doesn't have to do it. But a side bet of $500, which back then probably was a pretty decent amount.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, what that's 134 years ago. So
Well, back then, I mean, in the early 20s, you could have bought a car for that amount.
yeah, that's true. The old Model T.
Yep. Yeah, I think they were going for like $400.
Was it the end?
Yeah, right. Probably. Well, in the 1800s, it was probably the steam car.
Yeah, you're right. Probably was. So then, a couple other things I thought were interesting that kind of came up on the history timeline that maybe I don't know if you want to chat about or not. What's My Line debuted in 1950 on CBS.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong with that. Was that the one where um, they? Let me look this up because I could be totally wrong here. Um, a long running panel show in which a celebrity panel guest questioned members of the public or a famous guest to try to guess their job. Right. Okay, so that's what I thought it was. So is what's my line, or was it to tell the truth? One of these, I don't remember because there was another one that came out later that was to tell the truth. Do you remember the movie with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
So it's about Frank Abagnale, who was a notorious fraudster. He was like doing everything he possibly could to fake jobs and get checks from different companies and forging checks and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he was caught eventually by the FBI,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually ended up going to work for the FBI after
Yeah.
this to help them with their investigation, so that he could, pinpoint things that a criminal might be trying to do in order to get through this. But anyway, I believe it was on either What's My Line or To Tell the Truth that Frank Abagnale was on there, and the guests had to try to guess who he was, and they were like, he was going through his crazy story on this.
Yeah.
Let me look up Frank Abagnale here real quick. Frank Abagnale. I don't know if he's still alive, or is he? Yeah, he's still alive. He was 77 years old. Uh, Let me see. Yeah, he was on To Tell the Truth, and it aired May 10th of 1977. That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of different YouTube videos of that out there. If you get a chance to catch that, it's a pretty cool episode. I know
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with What's My Line, but it kind of does because it was the same premise of a show.
Yeah.
And then this one, Howie, I got to know, were you a G.I. Joe player? Like, did you play with the G.I. Joe toys and stuff as a kid?
I did not,
Okay.
but
How about the cartoon show? Did you
I
watch
was
that?
definitely into the playing army, I guess you can say. But I was too poor to collect GI Joe.
Okay.
So I was more into those little plastic guys that, that came out of plastic molds, and, that either
Yep.
were on their stomach
Yeah.
crawling or in a
Yeah.
gun stance and whatnot. But
Little Green Army guys.
what's that?
The Little Green Army men.
Yeah, the Green Army men like you saw in Toy Story. Those were pretty much, yeah, those are the ones that I could afford as a child. But GI Joe, yeah, I would have loved to have probably played that. How about you?
Yeah, so I didn't get into it real big, but I did play with them. A lot of my friends had them, so we would
Yeah.
kind of set up little battles and stuff like that. But the reason I bring that up is because 1964, these debuted as a toy.
Wow.
I mean, I would imagine they're still around, right?
Oh,
They gotta
yeah.
be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
G.I.
don't.
Joe, are they still doing it?
I mean, I
Um,
don't think they're around like they were when we were kids, but they're definitely still around.
so yeah, I'm looking here to see.
I just
Yeah, 19,
remember,
1964 to present. So yeah, they're
yeah,
still around.
I just remember like some of the toys that came with GI Joe sets. I remember there was like a big naval ship airplane
Yeah.
carrier that came with it. It's probably as wide as my desk here, and which is probably, I don't know, maybe 6 feet long. I just can't imagine, like, where in the heck did you store those toys back in the day?
See, now I wasn't so much into the GI Joes. I mean, like I said, my friends had them, so I played with them. But I was more into He Man.
Ah, okay. That was
That's what
my
I played with
brother.
a
My
lot.
brother Mark was huge into He-Man. He
Yep.
had he
Yep.
had Castle Grayskull.
Oh, same,
What was that?
same here. Yep.
Snake Mountain,
Snake Mountain. Yep.
and yeah, and then a bunch of the different characters, obviously, that came with it.
Yeah. I mean, I when I was younger, my aunt and my uncle would watch me quite often, and they were either just out of high school or maybe even still in high school at that point. I don't remember. They weren't married yet. They were just dating at that point.
Yeah,
But they would always like, I always seemed to be with them every Friday, and they'd get, obviously most paydays are Friday. So they'd always take me to whatever local store we were at. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah.
think at some point it was like Hills and Zares and stuff like that. And I'd go and
Wow.
get my He-Man and stuff like that. Yep. So I'd get one He-Man every week, and like I had so many of them.
Yeah.
And I look back at it now and wonder where they all went. The only thing I can think of, and my aunt blames it on my mom, so she probably yard saled them. Yeah, she probably did.
Yeah, it's probably a possibility. I wish I had like I wish I still had like a relationship with my mom because I would love to kind of dig into because I was big into Hot Wheels. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had all those like little garages that you would fold up, the cities
Yep.
and things like
Yep.
that. Um, and it was definitely a lot of fun. I would spend, my gosh, all day just playing with those. And I didn't have He-Man, but I had what they called it was called Black Star. I
I
don't
never
know
heard
if
of
you
that one.
remember that. They even had a cartoon out on it in the day.
Oh,
Yeah, and it had like
okay. I'm gonna look it up every day.
yeah, it was kind of like there was this kind of He-Man character like guy. He had a sword and he had also a bunch of hobbits. I don't know if they were called hobbits, but they were small. They looked like hobbits.
Okay, these look familiar. Yes.
Okay, yeah. That was my go-to toy back in the day.
Okay.
That was me
I thought
going
you.
to hills and, finding the next Black Star character to collect. Nickels and Kings, remember that?
Which where was Kings?
Kings was like down the road from Nickels, but in
I don't
Cleona.
remember that one.
I almost
I don't
think
remember that one.
I think it was where Giant is now in Cleona.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
I
Yeah, that
know.
was wow. That's going way back.
You know what? I think people like today's day and age kids or even the early 20 something year old adults,
Mhm.
they really missed out on that stuff, don't you think?
Definitely, definitely.
You know?
There's something about like just being in your own little world, kind of disconnected from everything, and you're just playing with toys and lost track of time.
Yeah.
Like I remember my cousin and I you were talking about Hot Wheels a little while ago.
Yeah.
My cousin and I were in my house where we used to live when I was a kid. The kitchen was very long and it was attached to a hallway, and it was all linoleum, the whole way,
Okay. Yeah.
from the kitchen all the way back to the hallway, right? So I would sit on one end of the linoleum, like where my bedroom was, and he would sit on the other end where the kitchen was down there.
Yeah.
And we would just take these cars and just zing them back and forth as fast as we could and just see like if any of the cars would get wrecked or damaged or
I
you know what I
know.
mean? Like
Meanwhile, if
yeah,
you look back on that, you were probably destroying cars that are worth $10,000 today,
you're probably right.
you
You're
know,
probably right. Yeah.
as a
But we didn't
collectible.
care. You know,
Yeah, I know.
we were playing with them in dirt, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
outside making like dirt piles and
Yeah.
stuff and ramping them off the dirt piles and
You better
so
believe
many
it.
stupid things like that. Yeah. Putting them in water and,
Yeah.
whatever, all kinds of dumb
Well,
stuff.
you
But yeah,
remember
that was something.
they made those cars where like if you hit another car, it would automatically like roll into like
Yes.
a
Yep.
crunch look.
Yep. They also had a couple He-Mans like that. I don't know if you remember that, where they had different battle armor on their
I do,
chest.
yes, like
So it was clean, and then if you hit it once, it would roll, and
yep,
then it would have just a little bit of damage. And then if you hit it again, it would roll, and it would look like totally damaged and stuff
yeah.
like.
I know, I know. See the little things that
And to
got
us,
us
that was like the
excited,
best,
right?
right?
What's that?
Yeah. I said it to us. That was like the best thing ever.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the era that
Popples.
we
Remember
lived in.
Popples?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah. Oh yeah. Care Bears, Cabbage Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kid. How
Yeah.
about the Garbage
The
Pail Kid
Garbage
cars? Do you
Pail
remember
Cards,
those?
yes. Yes. Stinky Stacy, I think, yeah, Vomit, whatever, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean that was actually kind of cutting edge back then, as far as
Yeah, it
like
was.
pushing the envelope for what was appropriate and what wasn't.
Probably more so today to do it than it was then. Probably
Yeah, well,
couldn't
that's true.
you probably couldn't get away with it today.
Okay, well, you want to go down that road? Think about the '70s sitcoms and stuff like that used
Oh,
to be on.
geez, the Jeffersons,
Like okay, think
Archie
about All in the
Bunker.
Family.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, no way would this stuff be allowed
My
today.
favorite
No way.
all-time sitcom was MASH.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this, but in the first couple episodes, they had a character by the name of Spear Chucker.
No, I don't remember that.
Yep. He was
And I'm guessing he was some sort of Native American.
he was no, he was black.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's not where I thought that was going.
No, no, he was a I think he was a black doctor on the show, but his nickname was Spear Chucker. And think about, could you imagine saying that today?
I mean, that's like having a team called the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
That's,
Or back in the day during the Jefferson, I love the Jeffersons, by the way.
that was pretty cool.
And they were always into, oh, here comes that honky again, and obviously, Archie Bunker, All in the Family, he definitely had his own quotes that would never live up to today's world. But yeah, but you know what? Those were innocent times we lived in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I think there's something to be said about everybody kind of being able to laugh about stuff and
Hmm.
not being so offended by it. If you can tell if somebody's saying something in an offensive way and trying to do, or if it's just a comedy routine, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I do feel like a lot of comedians now are at the point where they don't care anymore and they're just saying whatever they want to say again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a Facebook. I think it's Facebook, where these two guys, they're a black and a white guy, and they say, "Welcome to taking my white friend out to do black people crap."
Oh my
And
gosh.
then the white guy goes, "Welcome to taking my black friend out to do white people crap," and things like
Yep.
that. And they just go to different things. Like the black guy will take the white guy to this in the projects chicken place, and just kind of give him like a version of what his culture's like, and then the white guy will take him into his world, show him what white culture's like, and it's just funny. They make light of it, but in reality, think about, we just don't do that enough anymore.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, why aren't we comfortable with that? Why do
I
we
don't
have
know.
to like worry about what the other person might think? And as long as your intentions aren't negative, then who
Exactly.
cares?
I think that's what it all comes down to. It's intention.
Mhm.
You know, it's not about what's said; it's about intention, and that's
Yeah.
that's that's the key to all this.
Mhm.
We don't need to be offended by things if people weren't trying to say it offensively.
You got it.
I don't know. If one of my friends of a different descent or culture or different race or whatever, is jokingly calling me a honky or a cracker or whatever, like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell they're not saying it to come at you like in
Mhm.
a way that's causing a confrontation. They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
joking around. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a honky thing to do or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, something like,
Yeah.
okay, no big deal.
I know.
Um,
I remember when I had to go out to Colorado, and we got with work, and we got involved with all this racial stuff going on. And I'll never forget, like, the guy that I was out there with was a black guy, and the town was very racist towards black people. And I just remember us just making light of it, both of us making light of it, because
yep.
it was such an uncomfortable event that we were dealing with, that it just felt right to joke about in a way. And like the one time we went out to a restaurant, and the waiter was like, he was confused on why we had him with us. And I said, "Oh, don't worry, he's our driver." You know, that was my joke in the moment to just kind of alleviate the thing. And he just turned to me and just started laughing. But it was funny, it was just like, people are so stupid that they're going to like have their lives affected because of their racial outlook
I know.
on
I
things.
know.
It's like, why should I care what they think?
Exactly.
I remember
Yeah.
we also went into a McDonald's drive-through, and this white girl at the McDonald's drive-through, she did everything but crawl out the window and into our van because she was so infatuated with him, with TJ. Like, she was like, "Here's my number, call me
Oh my
whenever."
gosh.
Yeah, and it's like, holy crap. I said, there are some good things about being you out here. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so
Yeah.
he had his choice, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
It's
people are just so. I mean, it's an ignorance thing, and And I feel like people kind of like, I don't know, they lean too much on using it as a crutch than they do,
Absolutely.
as
Yep.
using it for, you know what, let's just learn from this and move on. And if
Yeah.
people want to be ignorant, let them be stupid.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Like,
Hmm.
um, I always go back to is it Morgan Freeman, I believe, that said he said, you know how we get rid of racism? We stop talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it makes so much sense. It really does.
It really
Like,
does.
if you just treat people like people and not what their color of their skin is, and label them differently,
Yeah.
well, then everybody's the same.
Yeah. But
And
instead we kind of magnify it right now in this day and age where, we create DEI projects and,
mhm,
you make people question, well, was this person hired because of that or whatever?
right. Yep.
And it's a shame because it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah. Now I saw a funny skit. I don't remember where the other night, and somebody put um, a sign up on a parking spot in a lot that
Hmm.
was close to the front, and it said "Gay people parking only." And so the guy pulls in there, and this guy comes running over to him right away, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Are you gay? You can't park there." And he's like, "Well, they actually have spots just for gay people now." He's like, and the thing is like, it's a joke, and you should know it's a joke.
Yeah.
But the way it is in this day and age, you wouldn't be surprised if something like that were to happen. You know?
No, you're right. In fact, I saw
Yeah.
something today where, obviously we're dealing with a lot of the riot stuff out, or I don't know, riot stuff in Minneapolis and whatnot. There's a
You mean
guy.
the peaceful protests?
Yeah, yeah, peaceful
Yeah.
protests.
Yeah.
But there's this guy going out there and he's going up to people and he's condemning them. And he's like, you know, I'm a trans indigenous person and, you know, I don't believe you should be out here protesting. This was my land to begin with. And you need, and he's joking because he's just showing how foolish this is. But as an indigenous person, yeah, so basically a Native American, and him being trans, he has rights over all this land, and how dare you protest on his land? And people are
Yeah.
like looking at him like they're literally confused. And they're looking at him like, I'm sorry, and they're apologizing, and I guess I need to study on this. And the guy's just looking at him like, wow, you're really an idiot.
Yeah. And the funny thing is actually at the Grammys, was that last night? Was the Grammys
Yeah,
last night?
last night.
Billie Eilish said something similar about like no person is illegal in this country if the land is stolen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you
Okay.
know what? If I went to her house and stole her money and all her
Right.
belongings, she would
Yeah.
probably have a different opinion of that thought.
Right. Yeah. So we can all just move into her house then, since she's living on stolen land,
That's
right?
right. That's right. It's
Yeah.
mine. It's mine too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny how those things are convenient when you want them to be, right?
Yeah, and it's sad because I think during this day and age, you learn how your idols are a lot dumber than you first anticipated them being.
I still go back to, I don't know if it was 2018 or 2017 or 19 or somewhere in that range, when Ricky Gervais did the Golden Globes,
Yeah.
and he got up there and did his monologue, and so funny but so true, everything he was saying.
Yeah.
Get up here, thank your family, thank your people that you love, thank your little gods, you know what I mean, and then get off the stage and get out of here. Like, nobody wants to hear your political beliefs. You've probably been in school shorter time than Greta Thunberg, and that's when Greta Thunberg was really popular.
Yeah.
But she was only 13 years older at the time, right? Like,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
most of you people have been in school less than Greta Thunberg.
That's so true though. You're right.
I know it is. It's like, you know, and who was I just talking about this last night too? Or actually, it was yesterday morning at breakfast. I was talking with one of my friends, and like, we were talking about the whole Springsteen thing. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I used to love all of Springsteen's old music, and I still do. Still like all some music. I'm not saying that me. I'm saying what he was saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and he's like, I just don't really care for his political beliefs and stuff like that. And he's like, I'll tell you right now that if I were to go to one of his shows and he breaks out into political outbursts and starts talking about his politics while I paid to go see a concert of his, like, I'm going to want my money back,
Yeah.
because I'm not there to listen to political beliefs. Music. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know. I know.
So if you're going to sit there and spew about your political beliefs, then don't charge anybody to get in there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
that's a good point, because
yeah.
you know. You're not there to hear somebody's, politics shoved down your throat. You're there to see him perform music that you like to listen
Mhm.
to, you know?
Yeah,
But
so
here
true.
we are.
Yes, we are. The whole world is revolving around politics, and I think it will be for quite a while.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here when the next election rolls around, see what happens with who gets elected, and,
Yeah.
maybe our nitwit governor will be the next president. Who knows? And then he can do TikToks from the White House instead of from his wherever he is.
Yeah, right? That is so true.
That's all he does is freaking do videos and pick on stuff that Trump says all day long.
Yeah,
My God.
pretty much.
Yeah. Don't you do anything else?
No, no. Are we yeah. Are we making any moves? Are we making any progress in the state that you're governing, you know?
Yeah, right. Well, he says that our economy or whatever is doing better, and that's no thanks to Trump. And I'm like, really? Okay. 'Cause I
Yeah.
remember when Trump went into office and eggs were like what, $6 a dozen, something like
Yeah.
that.
And
And
gas
then
was
for a
close
few
to
months, but
$4
eventually
a
now
gallon.
they're back down to normal price again.
Uh-huh. I know.
Whatever. Like I said, I think we talked about this last week. You don't have to like the guy personally to like him as a businessman and
Exactly.
for having a backbone and standing up for our country. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you can think he's a womanizer and a douche and everything all you want, and you probably won't get much argument from me on that.
Mhm.
But when it
Like I
comes to
said
the business
before,
of the country,
you can think what you want about Bill Clinton, what he did with Monica Lewinsky and what the rumors are that he has done, beyond that. But as a president, the economy was good. Things were booming in a sense, and I don't complain because of that. I don't have to like the person to appreciate what he's done for the country. You know.
and I also think it's funny too how ICE has been around since what 2003, I believe, is when it started under President Bush.
Yeah, and it's been here before that under a different name, by the way. Yeah.
Under Bush, under Obama, under Trump the first time, and then under Biden, and then back under Trump again. None of nothing's changed as far as ICE
No.
going after these. Has Trump, ramped it up to go after the more criminal ones? Yeah, I'm sure he has. But he actually has less deportations than these other guys,
And
but he gets
Obama
more.
and Clinton.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't understand that. Like, how does that make sense?
Because he interfered with their other agendas. That's what it comes
I
down
guess.
to. I mean, you think about where we're getting the biggest pushback from. We're getting the biggest pushback from Minnesota. What is going on in Minnesota beyond this? Beyond the deportations. Well, the Somalian situation is going on. Think what was going on in Ohio. Somalians, you know, um, dealing with them there. It's just big pushbacks because they want deflection of what they're doing. And this is perfect opportunity to call someone a racist and to call someone, to call someone Hitler, because it's a great smokescreen to cover up what they already are doing.
It's always funny how something controversial happens
Hmm.
right when something else happens that they're trying to cover up real quick.
Yep. That is so true.
It happens all the time, all the time. That can't be a coincidence. It can't be.
No, it's not.
All right, but
Uh,
before we go too far down that rabbit hole, we better
yeah,
wrap it up.
right. Yeah, I was going to say we've already been at it for an hour. But yeah, I mean, one of these days, again, I know we mentioned it before, but we got to have Chad Gracie on, and I'm sure he would love to dive into this a little bit.
I know he would.
Chad and his partner in crime.
Yeah, John. Yep. So, okay, man. Well, yeah, you can wrap us up here, and appreciate everybody tuning in. So
Yep.
that's all I got for now.
All right. Good deal. Well, hey, until next week, folks, stay tuned.